The spaceship was cold and smelled like metal. Kevin Park sat in his seat and looked out the window at the stars. He had never been to space before. He thought it would feel more exciting. Instead, he just felt tired and hungry. Around him, soldiers from Earth whispered to each other. They were nervous. They were about to arrive at the Galactic Coalition Academy, the most famous military school in the known universe. Species from thousands of planets sent their best warriors there. Now, for the first time in history, humans were invited too. Kevin yawned and closed his eyes. He had not slept well the night before. The bed on the ship was too hard and the lights never fully turned off. "Park," a voice said. "We're arriving in 10 minutes. Look alive." Kevin opened his eyes. Commander Williams stood over him with a frown on her face. She was the leader of the human group, and she did not like Kevin very much. She had told him this many times. "Yes, Commander," Kevin said. "This is the most important moment in human history," Williams said. "We are representing our entire species. Try not to embarrass us." Kevin nodded. He did not know why everyone kept saying things like this to him. He had not done anything embarrassing yet. He was just quiet and tired most of the time. The ship landed with a soft thump. The doors opened and bright light flooded inside. Kevin squinted and followed the other soldiers out onto the landing platform. The academy was huge. Towers made of crystal reached up into a purple sky. Floating platforms carried aliens of all shapes and sizes between buildings. Some aliens had wings. Some had tentacles. Some looked like clouds of colored smoke. Kevin watched them pass by and felt very small. A tall creature approached the human group. It had a body like an insect, with 6 legs and 2 arms. Its head was shaped like a triangle, with large black eyes that reflected the light. When it spoke, its mouth parts clicked together in a strange rhythm. "I am Ambassador Thrillclick," the creature said. Its voice came from a small device on its chest that translated its clicks into English. "I will be your guide and mentor during your time at the Academy. Welcome to the center of galactic civilization." The human soldiers saluted. Kevin raised his hand a moment too late. Thrillclick's black eyes focused on him. "You, human, what is your name?" "Kevin Park, sir, or ma'am." "I'm sorry, I don't know which one." "Neither," Thrillclick said. "My species does not have your concept of gender. You may call me Ambassador." "Okay, Ambassador. Nice to meet you." Thrillclick stared at Kevin for a long moment. The other humans shifted nervously. Finally, the Ambassador turned away and began walking toward the main building. "Follow me. I will show you to your quarters. Tomorrow, your training begins." The quarters were small but clean. Each human got their own room with a bed, a desk, and a window that looked out at the stars. Kevin sat on his bed and wondered if there was anywhere to get food. A knock came at his door. He opened it and found Thrillclick standing there, bending down to fit in the hallway. "Kevin Park," Thrillclick said. "I have been reviewing the files of all human candidates. I have a question for you." "Okay. Your test scores are average. Your physical abilities are average. Your psychological profile shows no exceptional qualities. You are not the strongest, fastest, or smartest human in this group." Thrillclick paused. "Why did your government send you here?" Kevin thought about this. It was a fair question. He had wondered the same thing himself. "I volunteered," he said. "They asked for volunteers and I raised my hand. I guess not many people wanted to come. Space is far from home, so they took me." "You volunteered for the most difficult military training in the galaxy because it seemed interesting." "Yeah, pretty much." Kevin scratched the back of his head. "Also, I didn't have much else going on. My lease was ending, and I didn't want to find a new apartment." Thrillclick made a sound that might have been confusion or might have been disgust. It was hard to tell with insect faces. You understand that many recruits do not survive the academy? The training is designed to push beings to their absolute limits. Some break, some die. The graduation rate across all species is only 34%. Kevin nodded slowly. That does sound hard. And you are not concerned? Kevin was quiet for a moment. He looked out his window at the distant stars. A planet with rings slowly rotated in the darkness. It was beautiful. It was also terrifying. If he thought about it too long, so he tried not to think about it too long. I guess I figure I'll do my best, Kevin said. If I fail, I fail. If I die, I die. Worrying about it won't change anything. So I try not to worry too much. Thrillclick's antennae twitched. That is either very wise or very foolish. I cannot determine which. Probably a little bit of both, Kevin admitted. The ambassador left without another word. Kevin lay down on his bed and stared at the ceiling. His brain was doing the thing it always did at night, showing him all the ways things could go wrong. He could fail the training. He could embarrass humanity. He could die alone in space, millions of miles from home, and no one would remember his name. These thoughts had visited him every night since he was 12 years old. They were old friends by now. Scary friends, but familiar ones. Kevin took a deep breath and let the thoughts pass through him like water through a net. He had learned a long time ago that fighting them only made them stronger. It was better to just let them exist, acknowledge them, and then let them go. He thought about tomorrow. There would be tests. There would be challenges. There would be aliens who had trained for centuries, looking down at the primitive humans who had only just learned to leave their own planet. Kevin closed his eyes. Whatever happened would happen. For now, he needed sleep. Outside his window, the galaxy spun slowly in the endless dark. Billions of stars burned with ancient light. Civilizations rose and fell on distant worlds. Wars were fought. Peace was made. The universe continued its eternal dance, indifferent to the small human lying in his small bed in his small room. Kevin Park fell asleep in 3 minutes. He did not dream. In the morning, everything would change. But for now, there was only rest. The first 3 weeks at the academy passed quickly. Kevin learned to shoot plasma weapons. He learned basic alien languages. He learned how to fight in zero gravity, which made him throw up twice, but he got better at it. The training was hard, but not impossible. Kevin did not excel at anything, but he also did not fail at anything. He stayed exactly in the middle, which seemed to annoy his instructors. Then came the announcement about psychic combat. 401. All recruits were gathered in the Great Hall. A massive room with ceilings so high they disappeared into darkness. Thousands of aliens sat in floating chairs, arranged in circles around a central platform. Kevin found a seat near the back and waited. Ambassador Thrillclick appeared on the platform. The hall fell silent. Tomorrow, Thrillclick announced, you will all begin the most dangerous course in the Academy's curriculum. Psychic Combat. This course is mandatory for all recruits. There are no exceptions. A murmur ran through the crowd. Kevin noticed that several aliens had begun to shake. One small creature that looked like a blue hamster started crying. The course will be taught by Master Vorn. Thrillclick continued. Many of you know this name. For those who do not, let me explain. Master Vorn is the oldest living psychic entity in the known universe. He has existed for 8,000 years. He has trained warriors from 10,000 worlds. He has also destroyed the minds of any student he deemed unworthy. Kevin raised his hand. Thrillclick pointed at him. Yes, human? What do you mean by destroyed their minds? The hall went very quiet. Everyone turned to look at Kevin with expressions of horror and disbelief. I mean exactly what I said, Thrillclick replied. Master Vorn engages in direct mental combat with each student. He enters your consciousness and attacks your sense of self. He uses your memories, your fears, and your deepest secrets as weapons against you. If you cannot resist him, your mind breaks. You become an empty shell. You lose the ability to think, to speak, to recognize your own name. You exist in a state of permanent psychological destruction until your body dies. "Oh," Kevin said. "That sounds bad." "It is bad, human. The survival rate for this course is 12%. That means that out of every 100 students who enter, only 12 emerge with their minds intact." The blue hamster creature was now screaming. Several other aliens had fainted. Kevin looked around and felt like he was missing something important. Everyone else seemed terrified. He just felt mildly concerned, like when he forgot to pay a bill on time. After the assembly, Kevin walked back to his quarters. A tall alien caught up to him in the hallway. This alien had gray skin, large silver eyes, and thin limbs that bent in strange directions. Kevin had spoken to him a few times before. His name was Ambassador Grell, and he came from a planet called Telluria. "Human Kevin," Grell said. "I must speak with you." "Sure. What's up?" Grell looked around nervously, then pulled Kevin into an empty room. "You do not understand what you are facing. Master Vorn is not like other teachers. He does not want you to succeed. He wants to prove that your mind is weak. He wants to break you. Why would he want that? Because that is what he does. That is what he has always done. He believes that only the strongest minds deserve to exist. Everyone else is garbage to him." Grell's silver eyes filled with tears. "My cousin went through his training 50 years ago. She was brilliant. She was the smartest person I ever knew. She lasted 4 minutes against Master Vorn. Now, she sits in a care facility on my homeworld. She does not recognize her own children. She cannot feed herself. She stares at the wall and drools." Kevin felt a twist in his stomach. "I'm sorry. That's horrible." "It is. It is. And it will happen to you too, if you are not careful." Grell grabbed Kevin's arm. "You must prepare. You must build mental walls. You must learn to protect your thoughts. You must— How do I do that?" Grell paused. "What?" "How do I build mental walls? Is there a class for that? A book I can read?" Grell stared at Kevin for a long moment. You do not know how to protect your own mind." "I don't even know what that means," Kevin admitted. "I didn't know psychic stuff was real until I came here. On Earth, we just call it imagination." Grell's face went pale, which was impressive because his face was already gray. "You are going to die, human. You are going to die, and there is nothing anyone can do to save you." Kevin thought about this. Grell was probably right. Kevin had no psychic training. He had no special mental abilities. He was just a normal human being who had volunteered for a space program because he did not want to sign another apartment lease. "Well," Kevin said, "I guess I'll just have to do my best." "Your best?" "Your best will not be enough. Master Vorn has destroyed gods. He has broken the minds of creatures who lived for millions of years." "He has, I understand," Kevin said gently. "I really do. But what else can I do? I can't quit. I can't run away. The only option is to go forward and see what happens." Grell stared at Kevin with an expression that might have been admiration or might have been pity. "You humans are strange. You know you are going to lose and you still walk forward. Why? What is wrong with you?" Kevin shrugged. "I don't know. Maybe we're just too stupid to give up." That night, Kevin lay in bed and thought about tomorrow. His brain showed him visions of failure. It showed him his mind breaking apart like glass. It showed him ending up like Grell's cousin, trapped in a body that no longer worked, staring at walls forever, These thoughts were scary, but they were also familiar. Kevin had been thinking about death and failure and disaster since he was a child. His brain liked to remind him of everything that could go wrong. It did this every single night, without exception. Kevin had learned to live with it. He did not fight the thoughts. He did not try to push them away. He just let them exist, like background noise, like rain on a window. They were part of him now. Old companions. Unwelcome but unavoidable. He fell asleep thinking about the void. It was not the first time. It would not be the last. Tomorrow, he would meet Master Vaughn. Tomorrow, his mind would be tested in ways he could not imagine. Kevin snored softly in the dark. The mine combat chamber was located at the very bottom of the academy. Kevin followed the other recruits down a long elevator that descended for almost 10 minutes. Nobody spoke. The silence was heavy with fear. When the doors opened, they entered a hallway made of black metal. There were no windows. There were no decorations. There was only darkness, and the soft sound of their footsteps. At the end of the hallway was a large round room. The walls curved up into a dome. The floor was smooth and cold. In the center of the room, floating 3 feet above the ground, was a ball of purple light. The light pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. "That is Master Vaughn," Ambassador Thrillclick whispered. "Do not speak unless spoken to. Do not move unless told to move. Do not think any disrespectful thoughts. He will know." Kevin stared at the glowing ball. It was beautiful in a strange way. The purple color shifted and changed, sometimes dark like a bruise, sometimes bright like a flower. He wondered what it felt like to exist as pure light. Did Master Vaughn get cold? Did he get bored? The light expanded suddenly, filling the entire room with violet brightness. Kevin shielded his eyes. When he lowered his hand, the light had taken a shape. It was humanoid, roughly, with 2 arms and 2 legs and a head. But it had no features. No face, no eyes. Just smooth glowing emptiness where a person should be. "Welcome," Master Vaughn said. His voice did not come from any direction. It simply appeared inside everyone's heads at the same time. "I am your instructor. I am your judge. I am your executioner." Several recruits fell to their knees. The psychic pressure in the room was immense. Kevin felt it pushing against his skull like a headache. It was unpleasant, but not unbearable. He had experienced worse migraines. "Stand," Morn commanded. Everyone stood, except for the ones who were already standing, like Kevin. "Interesting," Vaughn said. His attention shifted to Kevin. The pressure on Kevin's skull increased. "A human. I have heard of your species. Young, primitive, no natural psychic abilities whatsoever." "That's accurate," Kevin said. The room gasped. Nobody was supposed to speak without permission. Kevin realized his mistake too late. Vaughn drifted closer. The temperature dropped. Kevin could see his breath forming clouds in the air. "You dare speak to me without being asked?" "Sorry," Kevin said. "Bad habit. I'll try to be quiet." Vaughn circled Kevin slowly. The other recruits stepped back, creating a wide empty space around the human. Nobody wanted to be near whatever was about to happen. "Your mind," Vaughn said. "I can see it. Small, cluttered, disorganized. There are no walls. No defenses. No training of any kind." He paused. "How have you survived this long?" Kevin thought about this question. It was a good question. He had asked himself the same thing many times. "I don't know," he said honestly. "Luck, I guess. Luck." Vaughn made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Luck will not save you here, human. Tomorrow you will enter combat with me. I will invade your mind. I will tear apart your memories. I will turn your fears into monsters and your hopes into ash. And when I am done, There will be nothing left of you but a screaming void. Okay, Kevin said. VORN stopped moving. Okay, that is your response to the promise of complete mental destruction? I mean, what else should I say? You're going to do what you're going to do. Me being scared won't change anything. The room was absolutely silent. Nobody could believe what they were hearing. This primitive creature from a backwater planet was talking to Master Vorn, like they were discussing the weather. Vorn leaned close to Kevin. The light from his form was blinding up close. Kevin squinted, but did not look away. I have destroyed 10,000 minds, Vorn said. I have broken warriors who trained for centuries. I have shattered beings of pure thought who existed before your son was born. No one survives mind combat with me. No one. I understand, Kevin said. But I'm going to try anyway. What's the worst that can happen? I end up brain dead? That's just like dying, but more slowly. I was going to die eventually anyway. Everyone does. Vorn was silent for a long moment. His form flickered and pulsed. Something strange was happening inside the ancient being. Something that had not happened in thousands of years. He was confused. Every creature that faced him showed the same emotions. Fear, desperation, the will to survive. They built walls in their minds. They prepared defenses. They fought with everything they had because they were terrified of what would happen if they lost. This human showed none of that. There was no fear in his mind. There was no desperate will to survive. There was only a calm acceptance of whatever would come. It was wrong. It was unnatural. It made no sense. Tomorrow, Vorn finally said. You will go first. I want to see what happens when I enter that strange little mind of yours. Okay, Kevin said. What time should I show up? I like to eat breakfast first if that's possible. I get cranky when I'm hungry. Grell made a choking sound behind him. Someone else was praying in a language Kevin did not recognize. 7 in the morning, Vorn said. Do not be late. I'll be there. Vorn dissolved back into a ball of purple light. The pressure in the room lifted. The other recruits started breathing again. Several of them immediately ran to the bathroom to throw up. Kevin walked back to the elevator alone. Ambassador Thrillclick caught up to him. Human Kevin, Thrillclick said. I have watched 10,000 recruits face Master Vorn. Every single one of them was terrified. You are the first who was not. Why? Kevin pressed the button for his floor. The elevator began to rise. I used to be scared of everything, Kevin said. When I was young, I was scared of the dark, scared of monsters, scared of death, scared of being alone, scared of being forgotten. My brain showed me nightmares every night. It told me everything that could go wrong. It made me imagine my own death 1,000 different ways. And now? Now I'm just tired. Kevin leaned against the elevator wall. I've been scared for so long that I got bored of it. The fear is still there. It never goes away. But I learned to stop fighting it. I learned to just let it exist without letting it control me. Thrillclick's antennae twitched. That sounds very sad. Maybe, Kevin said. Or maybe it's freedom. I haven't decided yet. The elevator opened. Kevin walked to his room. He ate a small meal. He took a shower. He brushed his teeth. Then he went to bed and fell asleep immediately. Tomorrow, he would fight a god. Tonight, he needed rest. Kevin arrived at the mine combat chamber at 6:45 in the morning. He had eaten a good breakfast. Eggs, toast, something that looked like orange juice but tasted like strawberries. He felt okay. Not great, not terrible. Just okay. The chamber was different today. In the center of the room was a black chair with straps and wires hanging from it. Next to the chair was a table covered with strange equipment. Monitors, sensors, things that beeped and flashed. Master Vorn floated nearby, his purple form pulsing slowly. "Sit," Vorn commanded. Kevin sat in the chair. A technician, a small alien with green skin and too many fingers, attached sensors to Kevin's head and chest. The sensors were cold and slightly sticky. "These will monitor your vital signs," the technician explained. "Heart rate, brain activity, hormone levels. When your mind begins to break, we will see it on the screens." "Cool," Kevin said. "What happens then?" "Then, we will try to pull you out before the damage becomes permanent. Sometimes we succeed. Usually we do not." "Hooray." Very reassuring. The technician finished and stepped back. Kevin looked around the room. Through a window, he could see an observation area filled with aliens. Ambassador Thrillclick was there. Grell was there. Many others too. They all looked worried. Kevin gave them a small wave. Nobody waved back. "Are you ready, human?" Vorn asked. "I guess so. The rules are simple. I will enter your mind and attack. You will try to resist. The combat ends when one of us surrenders or when your mind breaks completely. Do you understand?" "Yes. Any last words?" Kevin thought about this. He probably should say something meaningful. Something about humanity. Something about never giving up. Something inspirational. "I hope the cafeteria has pancakes for lunch," Kevin said. Vorn made that strange laughing sound again. "You are a peculiar creature. I almost regret what I'm about to do to you." "Almost?" "Almost. Begin." Vorn moved forward and entered Kevin's mind like a knife into butter. The first thing Kevin felt was falling. He was dropping through endless darkness, spinning and tumbling, with no ground beneath him and no sky above him. He tried to scream, but he had no mouth. He tried to grab onto something, but he had no hands. Then suddenly he stopped falling. He was standing somewhere solid. He could feel his body again. He could see Kevin looked around and laughed. He was in his apartment. His old apartment back on Earth. The one he had left when he volunteered for the space program. It was exactly how he remembered it. Small, cluttered. The couch with the stain he could never remove. The television that only worked sometimes. The kitchen with dishes in the sink because he always forgot to wash them. Vorn appeared in the middle of the living room. His glowing form barely fit. His head touched the ceiling. "What is this?" Vorn demanded. His voice echoed strangely in the small space. "Where are we?" "My apartment," Kevin said. He was wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt now. His favorite clothes. "Well, the inside of my brain. But it looks like my apartment. This is impossible. Every mind has a landscape. Warriors have fortresses. Scholars have libraries. Artists have ever-changing galleries of light and color. Your mind is a small room with dirty dishes? I like it here," Kevin said. "It's comfortable. Do you want something to drink?" "I think I have soda in the fridge." Vorn stared at Kevin for a long moment. Then he attacked. He reached into Kevin's memories and pulled out the worst ones. Kevin's father, walking out the door when Kevin was 7 years old. Kevin's mother, crying at the kitchen table because she did not know how to pay the bills. Kevin failing his first test in college. Kevin getting rejected by a girl he liked. Kevin sitting alone at lunch in high school. Kevin lying in bed at night, wondering if anyone would notice if he disappeared. The memories played on the television. Like a sad movie. Kevin watched them and nodded slowly. "Yeah, those were hard times. I think about them a lot." Vorn pushed harder. He turned the memories into monsters. Kevin's father became a giant shadow that loomed over him. Kevin's failures became chains that wrapped around his body. Kevin's loneliness became a void that tried to swallow him whole. Kevin looked at the monsters. He looked at the chains. He looked at the void. "I know you," he said to them. "You visit me every night. You show me all the ways I've failed. You tell me I'm not good enough. You say nobody loves me and nobody ever will." The monsters hesitated. They were not used to being addressed directly. "Here's the thing," Kevin continued. "You're probably right. I'm not special. I'm not a hero. I'm just some guy who got lucky and ended up in space. But I've been listening to you for 20 years now. I'm tired. I don't have the energy to fight you anymore. So you can just be here, I guess. Do whatever you want. I'm going to sit down." Kevin sat on his couch. He picked up the remote and turned on the television. Static filled the screen dot in the observation room. The monitors showed something impossible. Kevin's heart rate was dropping. His brain activity was decreasing. His stress hormones were at normal levels. He was not fighting. He was not panicking. He was relaxing. "What is he doing?" Shrillclick asked. "Why is he not fighting back?" Grell stared at the monitors with wide silver eyes. "I do not understand. Master Vorn is attacking with everything he has. Any other being would be screaming in agony. But this human is just sitting there." Inside Kevin's mind, Vorn tried a different approach. He attacked Kevin with existential dread. He showed Kevin the size of the universe. He showed Kevin how small and insignificant he was. He showed Kevin that nothing he did would ever matter, that the stars would burn out and the galaxies would die, and no one would remember his name. Kevin nodded thoughtfully. "Yeah, I think about that sometimes. Usually around 3 in the morning when I can't sleep. It used to scare me. Now it's kind of peaceful, actually. Nothing I do matters, which means nothing I screw up really matters either. It takes the pressure off." Vorn was losing control. He had never encountered a mind like this. Every attack he made simply dissolved into nothing. There was no fortress to breach. There was no wall to tear down. There was just a small apartment and a tired human who did not seem to care about anything. "Fight me!" Vorn roared. "Resist me. Show me your strength." Kevin yawned. "I don't really want to. This is actually pretty nice. My brain is usually much louder than this. All my anxious thoughts are over there being monsters, so the rest of my head is quiet. I haven't felt this peaceful in years." Vorn pulled out his ultimate weapon. He reached into Kevin's deepest subconscious and found his greatest fear. The fear that lived beneath all other fears. The fear that Kevin had carried his entire life. The fear of being completely alone forever. The apartment dissolved. Kevin stood in empty whiteness that stretched in all directions. There was nothing. No people, no buildings, no sound. Just endless white nothingness with Kevin at the center. "This is your fate," Vorn said. "To be alone. Forever. No one will come for you. No one will remember you. You will exist in this void until you forget your own name." Kevin looked around at the emptiness. It was scary. It was very scary. This was the fear that made him wake up shaking at night. This was the fear that made him volunteer for a space program just to feel like he was part of something. But he had felt this fear before. Many times. It was an old friend. "Okay," Kevin said softly. "If that's how it ends, that's how it ends. I've been preparing for this my whole life." And then Kevin Park did something that had never been done in the 8,000-year history of mind combat. He sat down in the void, closed his eyes, and fell asleep. In the observation room. Alarms began to sound. Kevin's brain waves had shifted into sleep patterns. Deep, restful sleep. In the middle of psychic combat with the most powerful mental entity in the universe, the human was taking a nap. "Impossible?" Thrillclick whispered. "This is impossible." He was back on Earth, standing on the porch of his childhood home. Rain fell from gray clouds and made puddles in the yard. The sound of it was peaceful, like static on a television, like white noise that blocked out everything else. In his dream, he was not worried about anything. He was not thinking about failure or loneliness or death. He was just watching the rain and feeling okay. This was the deepest part of his mind. The place he went when everything else became too much. The quiet center of the storm. Master Vorn found him there. The ancient being appeared on the porch next to Kevin. For the first time, Vorn did not look threatening. His purple glow had dimmed to something soft, almost gentle. He looked tired. Kevin did not know that beings made of pure energy could look tired, but Vorn definitely did. "How are you doing this?" Vorn asked. His voice was quiet. No echoing. No thunder. Just a simple question. Kevin watched the rain. Doing what? Sleeping. In the middle of combat. With your greatest fear surrounding you. How are you sleeping? Kevin thought about the question. He wanted to give a good answer. Vorn seemed like he really wanted to understand. "When I was a kid," Kevin said, "I couldn't sleep. My brain would show me scary things all night. Monsters under the bed. Bad things happening to my family. My own death. I would lie awake for hours, terrified, waiting for something terrible to happen. And now? Now I'm tired." Kevin smiled a little. "I've been scared for so long that I got used to it. The scary thoughts still come. Every night, without fail. But at some point, I realized that being scared wasn't helping. It wasn't protecting me from anything. It was just making me miserable. So you stopped being scared?" "No, I stopped fighting being scared." Kevin turned to look at Vorn. "There's a difference. The fear is still there. I still think about death and failure and being alone. But I don't push those thoughts away anymore. I just let them exist. They come, they stay for a while, and then they go. Like clouds passing through the sky." Vorn was silent for a long time. The rain continued to fall. Puddles grew larger in the yard. "I have existed for 8,000 years, Vorn said finally. "I have studied the minds of 10 million beings from 100,000 worlds. I have seen every kind of mental defense. Walls, shields, weapons, traps, mazes, fortresses. That would take centuries to breach. That sounds impressive. It is. And none of it works. I always find a way through. I always find the weakness. I always break them in the end." Vorn paused. "But you have no defenses. You have nothing. Just a small apartment and a rainy porch and a tired acceptance of whatever comes. Is that bad? It is impossible to defeat. I cannot attack what does not resist. I cannot break what is already broken and put back together. I cannot use your fears against you because you have already made peace with them." Kevin nodded slowly. This made sense to him. "I never thought of it that way. I just thought I was bad at being brave." "You are the bravest creature I have ever encountered," Vorn said. "True courage is not the absence of fear. It is continuing to live when you are terrified every single day. It is carrying your demons with you instead of running from them. It is being broken and choosing to keep going anyway." In the observation room, the monitors showed that Kevin had been asleep for 45 minutes. This was longer than any mind combat session in history. The previous record was 6 minutes. Kevin had beaten it by 39 minutes and was still going. The aliens in the observation room had stopped talking. They just stared at the screens in silent amazement. Ambassador Thrillclick turned to Grell. "What is happening in there?" Grell shook his head. "I do not know, but the human is still asleep." "And Master Vorn?" Master Vorn seems to be just talking to him. Back in Kevin's mind, Vorn had sat down on the porch next to Kevin. They watched the rain together like old friends. "I have a question," Vorn said. Okay, why did you volunteer for this program? You could have stayed on Earth. You could have lived a quiet life. Why did you choose to come here and face challenges that could destroy you? Kevin thought about this. It was a question he had asked himself many times. I think I was hoping to find something, he said. I spent my whole life feeling like I was waiting for something to happen. Like my real life was going to start someday, but not yet. I thought maybe if I went to space, if I did something big and scary, I would finally feel like I was really living. And do you? Feel like you're really living? Kevin smiled. Right now. Yeah, for the first time in years, I feel completely present. Not worrying about the future. Not regretting the past. Just here, watching the rain with an ancient god, talking about feelings. Vorn laughed. It was a real laugh, not the strange sound he made before. It was warm and surprised, and a little bit sad. You are the strangest being I have ever met, Kevin Park. Thanks. I think. Vorn stood up. His form began to glow brighter. I am going to leave your mind now. You have passed my test. Not because you were strong or clever or specially trained, but because you showed me something I had forgotten. What's that? That survival is not about fighting. Sometimes it is about accepting. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop struggling and let yourself rest. Vorn began to fade. Thank you, human. You have taught me more in 1 hour than I learned in 8,000 years. Kevin woke up. He was back in the black chair in the mind combat chamber. The sensors were beeping wildly. The technician was staring at him with an open mouth. Through the window, he could see the observation room. Everyone inside was standing. Some of them were crying. Kevin blinked and rubbed his eyes. Is it over? How long was I out? 53 minutes, the technician whispered. You were in mind combat for 53 minutes. Oh, is that good? The previous record was 6 minutes. You beat it by 47 minutes. The technician's voice was shaking. You fell asleep during combat with Master Vorn, and you beat the record by 47 minutes. Kevin stretched his arms. His neck was stiff from the chair. Cool. Is the cafeteria open? I'm really hungry. The doors burst open. Aliens flooded into the room. They surrounded Kevin, touching him, scanning him, asking him questions he did not understand. Ambassador Thrillclick pushed through the crowd and grabbed Kevin's shoulders. What did you do? Thrillclick demanded. How did you survive? I don't know, Kevin said honestly. I just stopped fighting and took a nap. Master Vorn seemed nice once you got to know him. The room went silent. Nobody had ever described Master Vorn as nice before. A purple glow appeared in the chamber. Everyone stepped back as Master Vorn materialized in the center of the room. But something was different. His form was softer. His light was gentler. He did not radiate power and fear anymore. The human speaks the truth, Vorn announced. He defeated me by refusing to fight. He accepted everything I threw at him and found it relaxing. Vorn turned to address everyone in the room. I have decided to retire from teaching. This human has shown me that my methods were wrong. Breaking minds does not create strong warriors. It only creates broken minds. The room erupted in confused noise. Master Vorn had never retired. Master Vorn had taught at the academy since before most civilizations existed. Kevin raised his hand. Can someone show me to the cafeteria? I really need to eat something. Grell stepped forward with tears in his silver eyes. I will take you, human Kevin. I will take you anywhere you want to go. As Kevin walked out of the chamber, the crowd parted for him like he was royalty. News was already spreading across the academy. The human who fell asleep during mind combat. The human who broke the 8,000-year-old record. The human who made Master Vorn retire. They called it the Park Principle. Within a year, it was being taught at academies across the galaxy. The idea that true mental strength was not about building walls or fighting harder. It was about acceptance. It was about living with your demons instead of trying to destroy them. Kevin did not care about any of this. He found the cafeteria. They did have pancakes. He ate 3 servings and felt very happy. Later, when historians wrote about the moment humanity proved itself to the galaxy, they did not write about great battles or amazing technology. They wrote about a tired young man who had learned to live with his anxiety and accidentally changed the universe by taking a nap. Kevin Park went on to have many more adventures, but he never forgot the lesson he learned in that mind combat chamber. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stop fighting.